Dave, one of the things I hear about sales, and I hear people describe sales is death by a thousand cuts.
Yeah.
And what do you think that means? How do you interpret that?
I take that as actually a good thing. I mean, we know the term death by a thousand cuts, and it just means that it's a lot of little things, right? In death by a thousand cuts, it has a connotation of pain, but I think death by a thousand cuts, I think of it as a positive way. There's 1,000 little things that you need to be doing along the way in order to be successful and to be successful for whoever your client is, right? So, going back to the authenticity, you got to stay in your swim lane, all that, but there's a lot of things that you've got to constantly be doing. You got to be understanding, your customer's business model. You got to be reaching out to them. You got to be talking to people that might not in their company that might not be directly involved in your deal, but that they have some influence, right? So there's a lot of little things, right? And, it even comes down to, when you're walking in and you go into a building and you're talking to the security guard and you're, being nice to them, and it's understanding their culture, right? Is a thing, and understanding their company. There's a lot of little things that you can do every day to kind of better your information about that company. Somebody that you might not have dealt with in that company or in that, particular deal, and you find an article and you're like, you know what, you put some thought into it and say, hey, I was thinking of you because we had a conversation and I'm just going to send you this thing without expecting anything in return, right? And talking to people that aren't directly involved in the deal, that might not be a decision maker. I know everybody says, go to the decision makers, go high, go early, and things like that. But there's 1,000 little things that you can do along the way. And all of those things add up. There's not one big magic answer, I guess, to doing in successful sales. I think it's a lot of little things as well.
Right.
That's what I think of when I think of a death by 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, the decision maker advice is interesting, but I've been surprised. And every year there's a couple of incidents I could think of where the buying committee includes people I hadn't thought of. And one recently had an engineering intern who was making decisions about what products to use. And they were a member of that buying committee. This was not even a part-time employee. This was an engineer on like a 6-month placement from the engineering school who was part of the decision-making team on this particular product. So yeah, it's stuck with just the decision makers. They would have referred me, or they wouldn't even have brought the intern into the discussion. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's a brilliant point, Murray. I've done that in my own career too, right? Where we're so eager, it's like, oh, I've got the senior vice president of executive of this or that, and he's the decision maker, but he's relying on his people to make the decisions for him. And we get all excited, and we kind of, I don't know if we push them out of the way physically, but we kind of just go, yeah, I want to talk to this guy, or you're at a trade show, or you're at the company. Oh, I'm all excited about talking to this guy. When this guy over here, he's the one that's actually
the decision maker.
He's making the decision maker for the decision maker.